So here's a video. JJ will love this too. Gabe Turner, I got this from Lexington football coach Jace Robinson. He had 4 tackles behind the line of scrimmage. But watch this video of a nose tackle and how far he ran after he picked off the pass and what or who tried to stop him. Lexington High School sent me this video against Marlin, by the way. And Marlin's got a team with a bunch of great speed. Watch this play. Picked it off in the middle. 1 tackle. Now, wait a minute. Can he get another attempt? This is from the quarterback who just fell off him like water on a duck's back. A defensive tackle, a nose tackle, Gabe Turner, who ran picks back 74 and 27 yards. And congratulations to him.
Living the dream.
Living the dream, like scoring a touchdown as a running back or a receiver. There was a video over the weekend about a quarterback, a lineman who threw a pass on a flea flicker. JJ, could you have brought him down?
At all. That's a big gentleman. I don't know how. I mean, I can see why the quarterback just kind of got slung out, man. That's a big dude.
I mean, and he could run. He could run too. All right, thank you for your time. JJ Joe, Baylor Radio Color Analyst, joins us. What were your overall impressions of Dquan Finn, who flashed what he can do, but there's also that, the concern of him trying to maybe throw it a few times when he shouldn't?
Yeah, I think if you, I think he went to coach. I think I heard Coach Aranda say in the postgame that he told Coach Aranda he could play much better, and Coach Aranda told him, "Don't worry about it, you will." So, and I believe that's how we all felt. I believe that early it was great to see his feet, the mobility that he brought to the table with the run. He kept some plays alive, missed some throws. I think you're going to have that. We have to remember it is a new offense for him, and sometimes you're going to miss. But I do believe that he'll get better. So I think for him, if you asked him, he had probably an average day, not a great day, not a bad day, but a good average day that allowed Baylor to win like they should have. I think the good news is everybody, I think, got out of that game healthy, smoked, and they felt like they left a lot of meat on the bone. So you're glad you win, 38-3 or 42-3, whatever it was, 45-3, and you feel like you left a lot on the bone.
How did that feel from your vantage point to see a Baylor quarterback take off on the run like that and hit the big play with his feet?
I'll tell you, I mean, I really liked it. I mean, it really felt like to me like this is part of what we need. Not everything you need, but part of what we need to have defenses have to worry about a quarterback that if you, for some reason, decide to keep taking the runner or for whatever reason you miss him, he can go the distance. And that's the big thing. The difference between 10 yards, 12 yards, what we could get probably last year, to a young man that can go, 30, 40, 50 yards is huge. Now, I think I said this, when we talked, I think a couple weeks ago, I really believe for this offense to be effective, Dquan Finn is going to have to throw for close to 3,000 yards because that means that he's executing Coach Spavital's offense at a high level.
JJ, do you think that he's going to have to maybe learn by doing that when he plays Utah or anybody else in the Big 12, that sometimes the things he got away with in the MAC or he got away with against Tarleton, you're not going to do? Or is this something that they're going to have to hammer in before that even happens against Utah this week?
Well, I think, he's played against some big-time opponents. So he's played against Ohio State. He's played against some other Power 5 teams and played pretty good football. So I think he has an idea of what he can and can't do. I believe in this offense, that's the big thing that the coaches have to figure out. Coach Spavital has to figure out. DeQuan has to figure out what package of plays of the whole offense do we feel DeQuan can execute at a high level. It won't be the same package maybe Sawyer operates at a high level. So once they find that package and he gets comfortable, in competition with this set of receivers, I think he'll be fine. But I think he can pretty much do what he's done before. It's just like anything. It's like, once you start with a new offense on a new team in a new conference, you'll have to figure out, yeah, exactly, kind of what you can and can't do. But I think he has an idea.
Does this team have more team speed on, I don't know about on defense yet, but do you think they have more team speed when it comes to offense?
I'll tell you what, I mean, I'm not sure if they have more speed. I think they do. It just looks like they look faster.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I wrote this in one of the articles of, Ashley sent me for Sic'Em 365 that, the one thing that I'm looking for defensively is up the middle. I mean, does our nose, our Mike, and our safety, do they play fast? Do they clean up like we've had when we had really good teams? Offensively, I think we have guys who can just run. I mean, you got to have them. We got Monterey. We got Ashton. I think the Josh Bell, I liked his speed. We know Tevin Reese has speed. So we have speed out there. But defensively, it looked to me like we were playing the game at a little notch and a half to 2 notches faster than we played pretty much at any time last year.
JJ, what were your thoughts on the offensive line, the run game? I mean, we knew going in, right? We knew going in kind of what the big concern might be, and I think that's still the concern coming out of it. But what did you take away from what you were actually able to see?
I think, it's a work in progress. These guys, for the most part, I believe maybe Beausoleil, maybe we have in Colton, maybe it's 2 that actually played quite a bit last year. A lot of new guys. We didn't move guys as much as I would love to see us move guys. But that doesn't mean, I mean, in the first game, sometimes teams can do some stuff or have some stuff packaged that, it's a little different for you. So I'm not gonna get too alarmed. I wanted to see us running a little bit better. But overall, I think it's a fine start, not a great start, but at least one where I think that it feels like to me that this line has more potential to improve over the next, week to 3 to 4 or 5 weeks than maybe we had last year.
Now, the jump up in competition is stiff. I mean, they're probably playing what is the probable Big 12, I mean, voted on by the media, the Big 12 favorite in Utah at a very lethal place to play. One of the things you can say going in is they did well against Utah last year and were kind of maybe a quarterback injury away from winning that. And 2, no matter what you say about last year, they did not do this, what they did to Charles, or what you say about Tarleton. They didn't do this to anybody last year. So they actually have a little bit of momentum going in.
I'm 100% with you on that one. The great news is that we won a game that we're supposed to win. We blew the team out. It was 28-0. And really, if DeQuan doesn't throw that that interception down at the goal line, we're up 35-0. And this game probably ends up 56 to probably 3. But it didn't. We left some meat on the bone. But I'll tell you, going into this week, it'll be a level that like they haven't experienced in since last year, right? Where even Utah's team last year was handicapped. Remember, Cam Rising didn't play. He didn't play at all last year. So they're going to have a quarterback that can complete passes, unlike Tarleton State struggled to complete passes. They're going to have some guys up front that can manhandle you. They're going to have some players that can actually, play through some things. So it'll be a big step up. But I'll say this, and I don't think Baylor fans need to be too concerned. I believe, and you heard this all the time, the teams do make one of the biggest jumps between week 1 and week 2 because there is just an adjustment to getting back and getting used to playing at that level of intensity again. And then I think for the players, they know that, hey, look, we can't get away with any of the stuff we got away with this past week.
JJ, when you go in the transfer portal, and Baylor, of course, probably didn't do it enough after they had that great year in 21, but when you go in the portal and your first touchdown is the guy you brought in with an NIL from Toledo, the first touchdown after the next touchdown was Finn, obviously to Ashton Hawkins, who's a transfer, Keaton Thomas a transfer, Trigg caught it. I mean, how much does that give you a lift?
It's huge. I mean, I was seeing the same thing you guys were seeing, Smoke, that I think our first 3 touchdowns or something were by guys that were all new to the program, came in through the transfer portal. And I just think that's the new age. I think it's the new age of you got to go find talent to help fill in some roster holes, and you got to hit on them. We don't know 100% have we hit on these guys. It looks at least the start of the season makes it look like, hey man, this is gonna pay off for us, and we hope that they keep improving. But I was watching, guys, Clemson play Georgia. Not that Georgia's gonna make a lot of people look bad, but Clemson and Dabo Swinney, they were where Georgia is, and he just refuses at this point to use a transfer portal. And in this day and age in football, Baylor's involved in it, UT, everybody's involved in it, and I think for the most part, it's just the new reality.
Yeah, he's like the one guy without a cell phone at this point. In that regard, JJ, watching I'm going to go back to the run game a little bit. They last week, they rolled out about everybody. Where do you think that the rotation will be when it comes to these are the guys that we're going to need to rely on to get first downs and drive this offense? Because they you can't just roll out 5 running backs every week. It's just not how it works.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I think that'll be probably the first 4 weeks of the season. They'll figure that out. They have a pretty good idea, but you got to get in game action and see what guys do in the game. I believe Dominic Richardson, if it was a conference game, he could have played. I think from what I hear, he didn't play. They held him out just out of precaution. Of course, a really talented freshman didn't play. He was out too. So I think when we get there, you have 4 guys that can really probably play D1 Power 5 football. And I think it's going to be one of those things where the hot hand gets the love. If you're running well and you're effective, the top 2 guys, maybe 3, you're going to get rolling that day. And if you're not, you're probably going to miss a little playing time.
JJ, I know it's not until next week when Baylor hosts Air Force, but they're going to honor that 74 championship team, the Miracle on the Brazos, and there are a lot of promotions on that. Where were you when that game was played? What do you remember much about that?
Man, I wasn't. I mean, Smoke, I was probably about 4. I think when that thing depends on when it was, but I mean, of course, I've heard a ton of stories. Not only am I on the team with Ricky, who's on that team, but Coach Taft was my coach when I was there, and man, we heard all the stories about the worm and everything else, man.
Oh yeah.
So I know a ton about it, but I didn't see it.
I didn't. Well, you know what? I try to make you older than you are. I mean, I like
it's the gray, Smoke. It's the gray.
All right. Paul brought up Utah, and it's a different level, and it's also a crazy good place to play. What Whittingham does is that's kind of what impressed me last year. Even though they didn't play well in the first half, the quarterback was struggling. They don't stop doing, or they don't stop being who they are. They just keep kind of grinding. On a road trip, you've been on a road trip at a really good place. What are some things that must be done to make sure you're prepared for this atmosphere?
Well, I mean, first of all, before the game, I mean, all that goes without saying. I mean, I think we have enough guys that have been on the road before, quite a few upperclassmen on this team that they know what it means to go on the road now. But I'll tell you this, I mean, what right up front is that we have to play a clean game. And clean means it doesn't mean you're going to have, the 17 explosive plays. It just means, number one, you're not going to turn the ball over. Dquan Finn can't make those decisions with the ball against Utah. Just can't do it. It also means that, all the negative yardage plays, those kind of plays, you have to minimize them. And then there's going to come an opportunity where you make a play. And you're going to have a guy like an Ashton Hawkins, because there's not going to be a lot of blown assignments on their side, Smoke. You're going to have to just make a play. And Ashton Hawkins made one when he was well covered. DeQuan made a guy miss. And you're going to need a runner. You're going to need a Reese or, Pendergrass or hopefully Richardson. Somebody has to make some guys miss and make a play. And the only way you beat, a top 15 team on the road, besides playing clean, is that you need some people on both sides of your ball. They go make a play and they go get it. And then if they do that, you'll be in position to at least get to the fourth quarter and have a chance to win. And that's all you can ask for.
Thank you, buddy. Great to have you on. You got another one?
I just want to have a point of comparison. So, JJ, you were an option quarterback. You used to boogie. You could get out there and make some big plays in the run game. If you were running along, like if we did the thing with you and Dquan Finn side by side on that long touchdown run,
oh my!
How close to the strides would you have been?
Man, I tell you, hey, the good news about it is I tried my best not to run much, but that side-by-side thing, I wouldn't even want to see it because I think I would lose quite in the 30 yards. I'd probably lose 4 or 5 yards, and that's not good.
Yeah. Yeah. And, when he took off in that zone read, whatever, I mean, it was like that's part of why you brought him in. And you just hope that he tightens up a little bit and protects the football, which is the number one thing for a quarterback to do. JJ, great to see you.
Thanks, guys.
Great to have you on. Thank you very much, JJ Joe, Baylor Radio Color Analyst, with us every other week right here on 365 Sports. And so good to have him on the show.